The Galactic Academy for Young Species stood on a moon that orbited no planet. It floated in the empty space between 3 star systems, neutral ground where the children of 100 different alien races came to learn. The Academy had existed for 12,000 years. In all that time, no human had ever taught there. Instructor Veth Raul watched the new human teacher walk through the main corridor. Her name was Maria Santos. She was small by galactic standards. Most species towered over humans. The Kralthiks stood 3 meters tall. The Venari had 4 arms and scales that could stop a blade. The Morthani were living stone, ancient and slow. Maria Santos was none of these things. She was soft. She was fragile. She had no claws, no armor, no venom. Veth Raul had objected to her assignment. He had sent 17 formal complaints to the Academy Council. Humans were too young as a species. They had only discovered faster-than-light travel 200 years ago. They knew nothing of galactic education. They certainly had no business teaching the children of ancient civilizations. The Council had ignored every complaint. They said the humans had requested the position. They said it was a gesture of goodwill. They said Maria Santos had excellent credentials from something called the University of São Paulo. Veth Raul did not care about her credentials. He cared about the safety of his students. And today, Maria Santos would begin teaching the most dangerous class in the entire academy. The Young Predator Integration Program existed for one reason. Some species were born dangerous. Their children came into the world with claws and fangs and instincts that screamed for blood. These children needed special training. They needed to learn control before they could join regular classes. They needed instructors who could handle them. Previous instructors had been Kralthik's warriors, stone-skinned Morthani, Venari with reflexes faster than thought, beings who could survive an attack from a young predator. Maria Santos could not survive such an attack. She would die the first time a student lost control. Veth Raul followed her to the training room. He would watch. He would document her failure. And when she was injured or killed, he would have proof that humans did not belong here. Maria entered the training room. 12 young predators waited inside. They ranged in age from 5 to 8 standard years. They came from 6 different species. All of them were dangerous. All of them had failed to control their hunting instincts in regular classes. The most dangerous was a Thornaki cub named Wrath. His species evolved on a death world where everything hunted everything else. Thornaki cubs were born with retractable claws that could cut through metal. Their fangs carried a paralytic venom. Their muscles could launch them forward faster than most beings could react. Wrath had already injured 3 instructors. The last one, a Kralthik's warrior with combat experience, had lost 2 fingers before subduing him. The warrior had requested a transfer immediately afterward. Maria stood at the front of the room. She was the smallest being present. Even the youngest students were larger than her. She carried no weapons. She wore no armor. She simply stood there with her hands clasped behind her back and looked at the young predators looking at her. The children were restless. They could smell her. They could smell that she was prey. Their instincts were telling them things that their young minds struggled to control. Several of them shifted in their seats. Claws extended and retracted. Fangs were bared and hidden. Wrath watched her with yellow eyes that never blinked. His nostrils flared as he took in her scent. Veth Raul saw the cub's muscles tense. He was going to attack. It was only a matter of time. Maria began to speak. Her voice was calm and steady. She introduced herself. She explained that she would be their new instructor. She told them that she understood how difficult it was to control their instincts. She told them that she was there to help. The children listened. Some of them seemed confused. They were used to instructors who were bigger than them. They were used to instructors who could hurt them back. This small, soft creature did not fit their understanding of authority. Wrath did not listen. Wrath watched. Wrath calculated the distance between himself and the human. Wrath's instincts told him that this creature was food. His young mind had not yet learned to override those instincts completely. That was why he was in this class. That was why he kept hurting people. Maria began a lesson about breathing techniques. She demonstrated slow, controlled breaths. She explained how controlling the body could help control the mind. Some of the children tried to follow along. Others fidgeted. Wrath remained perfectly still. Terra'sWrath saw it coming. He saw the cub's weight shift. He saw the muscles in Wrath's legs coil like springs. He opened his mouth to shout a warning, but he was too slow. Wrath launched himself across the room. He was a blur of gray fur and gleaming claws. His mouth opened wide, revealing fangs that dripped with venom. He aimed for Maria's hand, which was raised in mid-gesture. He would bite it off. He would prove that this creature was prey. He would show everyone that he was a predator. Maria did not flinch. She did not step back. She did not scream. She simply turned her head slightly to look directly at the cub flying toward her. And then she spoke. Enough. The word was not loud. It was not a shout or a scream. It was firm. It was certain. It carried absolute authority in a single syllable. Wrath's claws stopped centimeters from Maria's hand. His jaws closed on empty air. He hung there for a moment, suspended in the failure of his attack, and then he dropped to the floor at her feet. The cub looked up at her with confusion in his yellow eyes. He did not understand what had happened. His instincts had told him to attack. His body had obeyed. But somehow, he had stopped. Somehow, her voice had reached something deeper than his hunting instincts. Somehow, a single word from this small, soft creature had more power than all the physical force that previous instructors had used. Maria looked down at him. Her expression was not angry. It was not afraid. It was patient. It was understanding. And beneath that understanding was something that Wrath recognized on a level deeper than thought. It was the look of a creature that was not afraid of him, not because she could defeat him in combat, but because she simply refused to be afraid. "I know it is hard," Maria said. Her voice was gentle now. "I know your instincts are strong, but you are stronger. You are not just your instincts, Wrath. You are a person. You can choose." Wrath's claws retracted. His fangs disappeared behind his lips. He sat on the floor at her feet and did not move to attack again. Terra'sWrath could not believe what he had witnessed. No physical force, no combat, no restraints, just a word, just a tone, just the absolute certainty of a human woman who refused to be prey. The class continued. Maria taught breathing techniques. She taught mindfulness exercises. She taught the young predators how to recognize when their instincts were trying to take control. She taught them how to pause, how to breathe, how to choose. And they listened. All of them listened. Even the ones who had never listened to any instructor before, even the ones who had injured teachers and classmates and been considered hopeless, they listened because Maria Santos spoke to them not as dangerous animals that needed to be controlled, but as children who needed guidance. Terra'sWrath watched the entire class. He had come to document a failure. Instead, he documented something he could not explain. He documented a human doing something that warriors and predators and ancient beings had failed to do. He documented a small, soft creature teaching dangerous children with nothing but her voice and her presence. After class, he approached her in the corridor. He had questions. He had so many questions. "How?" he asked. "How did you stop him? He was moving too fast for you to react. You had no way to defend yourself. How did you know he would stop?" Maria looked at him with calm brown eyes. "I did not know," she said. "I hoped. I trusted." "Trusted what? Trusted that a predatory cub would suddenly develop self-control?" "Trusted him," Maria said. "Trusted that there was more to him than his instincts. Children need someone to believe in them, Instructor Terra'sWrath. All children. even the dangerous ones, especially the dangerous ones. Vethral did not understand. His species did not raise their young this way. His species taught through demonstration and correction, through reward and punishment. The idea of simply trusting a child to make the right choice seemed impossibly naive. "You could have died," he said. "He could have killed you before you finished speaking." Maria nodded. Yes, he could have, but he did not. And now he knows something important about himself. He knows that when given the choice, he can stop. He knows that he is more than a predator. That knowledge is worth any risk. She walked away, leaving Vethral standing in the corridor with his certainties crumbling around him. Over the following weeks, the young predator integration program changed. Maria did not use force. She did not use restraints. She did not use fear. She used patience. She used understanding. She used an absolute refusal to treat her students as animals. And it worked. It worked better than anything had ever worked before. Wrath never lunged for anyone again. Not once. He became the best student in the class. He helped the younger cubs learn control. He defended Maria when older students from other species mocked her. He became living proof that predators could choose to be something more. The other students improved as well. One by one, they graduated from the program and joined regular classes. They still had their claws and fangs and instincts. But they also had something new. They had the memory of a small human woman who had looked at them without fear and told them they could be better. Word spread through the academy. Other instructors came to observe Maria's classes. Some were skeptical, some were curious. All of them left with something to think about. The Kralthix warriors did not understand. Strength was supposed to command respect. Fear was supposed to maintain order. How could a creature with no physical advantages control a room full of predators? The Morthani scholars studied her techniques. They wrote papers about human psychology. They theorized about pack dynamics and social hierarchies. They tried to explain what they were seeing in scientific terms. The Venari instructors watched her hands. Humans had strange hands. They had no claws, no venom, no natural weapons. But they were expressive. They moved constantly when humans spoke. And something about those movements commanded attention in ways that were hard to define. Maria was asked to present her methods to the full Academy Council. She stood before representatives of 100 different species and explained something that humans had learned through thousands of years of raising their young. "Children are not problems to be solved," she said. "They are people to be guided. Every child, no matter how dangerous, wants to be good. They want to belong. They want to be accepted. When we treat them as threats, we teach them that they are threats. When we treat them as people, we teach them that they are people. It is really that simple." The council members looked at each other. For 12,000 years, they had approached education through the lens of their own species. Predators were trained like predators. Prey species were protected from predators. Everyone had their place, defined by their biology. Humans saw things differently. Humans believed that anyone could be anything. It was an absurd belief. It was naive and idealistic and contradicted everything that the galaxy knew about instinct and biology. But it worked. The evidence was undeniable. Maria Santos had done something that no one had done before. Vethral officially withdrew his complaints. He requested to study human educational methods. He spent hours talking to Maria, trying to understand her approach. He learned about human history, about how humans had raised children of their own species for hundreds of thousands of years. Humans, he discovered, had always been prey. They had no claws, no fangs, no armor. They should have been extinct long before they developed technology. But they survived because they learned to work together. They survived because they learned to see potential in every member of their group. They survived because they refused to give up on anyone. This was the secret that Maria brought to the academy. This was why she could face down a predatory cub with nothing but her voice. Humans had been teaching their young to overcome instinct since before they could speak. It was built into their very nature. The academy changed after that. Human instructors were requested for the most difficult classes. Human methods were studied and adapted. Other species began to learn what humans had always known. Every child wants to be good. Every child can choose. And sometimes all it takes is someone who believes in them enough to say a single word with absolute certainty. Enough. Wrath graduated from the academy with honors. He became a diplomat, working to bridge the gap between predator and prey species. He never forgot the human woman who had looked at him without fear and told him he was more than his instincts. Years later, he returned to the academy to speak to a new generation of young predators. He told them about the day he had lunged for a human's hand. He told them about the word that had changed his life. And he told them the most important thing he had ever learned. Humans are soft. Humans are small. Humans have no natural weapons. But humans understand something that many species never learn. They understand that strength is not about claws or fangs or muscle. Strength is about choice. Strength is about being more than what you were born to be. Humans taught me that. A human woman with no way to defend herself gave me the greatest gift I ever received. She believed in me when I did not believe in myself. The young predators listened. They listened because a former student was telling them something true. They listened because hope was more powerful than fear. They listened because somewhere deep inside, they all wanted to be more than their instincts. And somewhere in the galaxy, Maria Santos continued teaching, continued believing, continued changing lives one word at a time. Enough. It was enough. It was always enough.